Hey, and we are back, baby. And we're ready to get into episodes 3 and 4 of Real Housewives Ultimate Girl Trip Season 3. Okay. But before I go ahead and get into all of that, let me just say if you are new to the channel, baby, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome. Now, y'all all know what to do. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video with your people, okay? Now, this video is pre-recorded, so please don't think I am ignoring your comments, child. I'm just not talking to y'all directly because obviously it's pre-recorded. Now, with that being said, episode 1 and 2 has already been posted. So if you missed episode 1 and 2, after you finish watching 3 and 4, go back head on to 1 and 2. Okay. Also, don't forget we have All Rise Messy Night Court tonight, baby. Make sure you are there and present and on time, okay? Because once the judge finished giving the greetings, baby, the fines will be fining as usual. And with that being said, um let's go ahead and get into it, okay? Now, if y'all watched episode 1 and 2, y'all know I went into a little bit of episode 3, but for those who didn't watch it, let me go ahead and pick it back up. So, episode 3 pick up where we left off at Candy Girls dinner, okay, with the Lazy Boy show, okay? Leah apologizes for saying that Araceli, that ain't that lady name. Ariel Alexia. Y'all know I'm bad with names. Charges to my head and not my hook because I'm not trying to mess up that lady name, but I mess up everybody's name. So, I'm sorry, girl, for saying that Alexia's story was boring and then her and Candace gets up and leave the table. Okay. When they get up and leave the table, of course, Portia sitting up there saying she was trying to come for her body. She took a man, girl. If that's the case, everybody in all of America who was dragging you about leaving that lady house with her Hennessy, her husband, and her husband, girl, that was everybody. But once again, you know how it is. You want to talk about somebody else playing the victim, but child, you was playing the victim in that situation, and I'm over it because people was gonna talk about it. People are still talking about it, and people still feel like you violated girl cool. But I digress. Candace and Leah talking, and she was like, "Listen, you apologize. Don't keep apologizing. That's just how they are. Go ahead and do your thing." Leah comes back to the table, and the other ladies were saying they were underwhelmed and they were bored at the dinner. Bored at that part of the dinner. So then the lady boys come out, okay, which in Phuket, instead of saying a drag show, they call it Lady Boy Show, okay? They come out and they do their dance. Girl, one of them hit the ground. I said, I know you lied. Go ahead and pop back up, baby. That thing bounced back up and kept on dancing like ain't nothing happened. Then Candace comes out and do a routine with the lady boys, and she's lip singing, but she's doing her routine. She got in where she fit in, trying to pick up on a few of the little dance moves that they was doing. And I was like, girl, to say you ain't had no practice with these people, you're doing you're doing all right with a little 1-2. You know what I'm saying? You're doing a lot right with with your little 1-2 or whatever. So the ladies got up and they was dancing after Candace finished serving her bedtime realness. Although she said it was Phuket marshmallow realness, she looked like a loofah sponge ready to bathe people in a nice hot soak. That's what she looked like to me. But she want to call it marshmallow realness. Girl, go on here, marshmallow realness. After she finished, all of the ladies get up and they dance with the lady boys, and then they proceed to leave. Okay, so then when they leave, you got Giselle and Ken and what's her name? Giselle and I'm so sick of these people. Portia in the car together. Okay, and they was talking about Candace and her names and how it was petty and she was coming for her and this and the third. And Giselle, she was like, but it really wasn't good shade. And Giselle was like, just admitted that Candace never starts stuff. Candace is always the responder. And I said, not you sitting up here talking about Candace is always the responder, but yet you act like she caused holy hell on Potomac. Like at the end of the day, if she's responding to shade being thrown at her, then why are we bashing her? Why are we acting like Candace is the troublemaker? Either people need to step up their wordplay game so they can battle back with Candace when they want to start with her, or shut the hell up at this point. But I'ma digress. Meanwhile, while she's saying that, Candace is saying that Portia is basically saying that Candace shaped her whole night around her. And I'm sitting up here like bitch, please go ahead and show me the unedited footage, because in case we miss something, you got a name like everybody else name, and they ask you for the story about you and Simon. Okay, you and Papa Smurf, you and whatever you want to call that man that you be photoshopping to make him look like he look good. That was it. That was all. The rest of the night we talked about Alexia, and then we went on to the Leah drama or whatever. Candace did her Lady Boss performance, and that was it. So please, Peacock, drop in the unedited footage so we can see what this night was shaped around Portia. Because girl, go to hell. No, it was not. It was not Portia. Get over yourself. You know how reality TV works. You know you are a season removed from RHUGT. You know you didn't go back because you didn't want to answer them same questions and what you got on this trip. And you really only got one question. She ain't even come at you like the Kenya Moore would have came at you. Girl, shut up. You know how this works. You know how this works, so you know that somebody was going to mention it. Them other ladies don't know you like that, and Giselle got your back, so she wasn't gonna mention. But I digress. Okay, so they move back, they go back to the house, and the house always drops them off at the bottom of this hill. And I'm gonna say this once again. Why I wonder why the cars don't never drop them off at the house. Why they always drop them off at the bottom of the hill. Them women been drinking, they getting out with shoes in their hand, walking up the little brick road, trying to get to the house. They all looking like they need an electric scooter, a walker, a cane, something, because baby, they be creeping. They all look about 300 trying to walk up that like that road. They be walking up that road back to the house like all my life I had to fight. I need to understand why the cars can't go up there. It's confusing to me. They walk to the car, they walk back to the house. They walk to the car, back to the house. Why can't the car pull up to the house? It might not seem like a big deal to y'all, but in stilettos, we walking down this brick driveway. Oh no god. Oh no god, baby. I would have saw that and had to quickly. Can somebody take me to the market to go get me some flakes? Because I'm not gonna be doing this. Not in no hills. No god. So anyway, the next day, they wake up. That's Marisol and Alexa's day to host, and they're hosting a yacht day. Okay. They all have breakfast. Well, they eat their breakfast in their room. Heather's sitting at the breakfast table by herself. They all join. They get in their cars. They have their libations, and they move to the boat. Now, Candace come out with this hat, biggest three solar systems, and the hat name is Janice. Not Janet. Not Candace. That hat is absolutely ridiculous. That's just too damn big. That head just too big, my girl. No, girl. Then you got a little bit about it and you put on that big old hat. The hat was bigger than you. The hat was bigger than your existence. That hat was just, I'm flabbergasted. The hat needed a whole back seat to itself, like a person. Don't do that no more, Candace. Girl, you wouldn't have said. Anyway, she ain't ride with the hat on. She put the hat in the back seat because it needed its own seat, state, zip code, phone number, and everything else that hat needed. That's how big that hat was. Absolutely ridiculous. Pepsi rides with the ladies and bring them to the harbor, to the yacht. And baby, the yacht was set up nice with food and everything. Pepsi said, okay, now it's time for him to leave and return back to the villa. So they was like, do anybody else want to go? Portia was like, Leah, you want to go? You want to go? And then Portia, that was unnecessary. It was not needed, girl. But I guess once again, you creating drama for the show. But then you get mad when somebody bring up your ish. Go to hell. Whew. She working my nerves. You working my nerves because you really coming on here with the child. Calm that down. So you want to come for Leah, act like Leah, you want to go Leah, like what's that supposed to mean? So then when they get all on the boat after Pepsi leave, they sitting all around at the table. Okay, and Leah asked Portia, which Leah gets into it with damn near everybody at the table, all right? But Leah asked Portia, what did she mean by saying that she wanted to leave? And she was like, Giselle, you asked me if I was gonna be all right being here. I felt like you were being shady. And Portia, I felt like you took a time where I had opened up about what I was vulnerable about to basically pick with me and talk about me or whatever. And then Portia said, Leah set it off. You know what I'm saying? Leah set it off. And I'm like, girl, but how? She asked you a question. You made her feel a type of way, and she came to you and said something about what she said. So who are you that you can't be asked the doggone question? You started that argument. You shouldn't have opened up your mouth and said nothing about her wanting to leave or whatever. If the girl said she was having anxiety, she felt some type of way, she was expressing how she was feeling. There wasn't nothing for you to make a joke about, because if somebody would have made a joke about you in your postpartum, if somebody would have made it, you got highly offended when Candace called you she took a man, but you want to sit up here and make fun of what this lady was vulnerable and opened up to y'all about, then want to say you started it, you asked for the mic, and then when you get the flow, you don't want the flow, and now you want to play victim. She wasn't playing no victim. Wasn't nothing about what Leah was doing playing the victim. Is she disgusting? Yes. Is she working my nerve? Yes. Is she a buzzkill? Hell yes. But she just thought that she had every right. If you made her feel some type of way about with the comments you made, if you made her feel some type of way, she had every right to ask you about it. I don't know what make you think because your last name Go Body or now Goo Body or whatever name it is. It could be Good Body or for me. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care what it is, however you pronounce it. If you made her feel some type of way, she had every single right to say how she felt about it and ask you what you meant by it. Then Leah gets into it with Maricela because they was talking about her drinking in her comments. But from what I'm saying, Leah is just a straightforward person. She don't know how to do pleasantries and keep that mouth shut. Okay. Then Candace steps in and she is saying how she had anxiety and she been crying, like just being away from her family. She's been calling her mom every morning, but she's kept it to herself so she can understand how Leah feel. Don't judge her because she was being open. Don't bully her about her opinion. Now, Portia, I don't think they was bullying her, but they was definitely being Portia and Giselle messy as. There was definitely being Portia and Giselle when somebody can say something to them, and the minute they say something to somebody, and the minute you say something to them, then they want to jump on you as if they can't be told nothing about what they said. They wasn't being bullying, but they was doing what they always do. Want to sit up here and try to check somebody, make their little stupid comments, and then when they get told something back, they want to pounce. You don't pounce. If you keep your mouth shut, nobody won't pounce on you. So then Portia gets up and act like she's going to comfort Candace about what Candace was saying, but then Portia said, you have anxiety, but you had the shadiest event here. And I'm like, girl, she had 2 shady moments in that whole event. Like, what are you talking about? The whole event was not even shady, girl. So stop it. Stop it. You got asked what everybody in America wanted to know. There is no way, once again, you would have came on this trip and how you and Simon got together wasn't going to come up. Especially since you lied about the story. We done heard 3, 4, 5 versions of the story. Once again, go to hell. Go to hell. You want somebody to be so pressed about you, girl. The only person Panini pressed about you is you. Then whenever somebody try to come at you about your fugazi attitude, then you want to have a problem. And so you're going to say you came over there to comfort her. And then you said that she made you feel uncomfortable. Well, Portia said that Candace made her feel uncomfortable about with the name that she made. Girl, why you felt uncomfortable? Like you said, the truth will always outstand a rumor or a lie. So if what you said was the truth and how you got with Simon was how you got with Simon, and you ain't took that man, and why you felt uncomfortable? Because you took that lady husband. Well, you ain't take him because you can't take nobody that don't want to be taken. But you know what you did was shady. You know how you got with him looked shady. And that's why you felt uncomfortable. Call a spade, ma. You did it. Own up to it. That's what it is. So Candace said, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. And Portia said, "You not sorry. You not sorry, girl. You just want to have an attitude." The girl said she was sorry. She didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. You had been hearing this for months. Now you want to act like this the first time somebody said that to you, girl. Go once again, Portia. Go to hell. Then she's talking about you were crying. How did we end up fighting? You was crying, and I came over here to comfort you. And I'm like, you came over here to comfort her, but you said not one comforting word to her. The first thing you said to her was your event was the shadiest, which means it was on your mind about that name she gave you. So therefore, you was using it to say, well, how you feeling anxiety and you around here shading people. As if you can't have anxiety and shade people. Just like the season when you said you was having your postpartum, you was going through your postpartum, but guess what? You was still throwing shade. So you can have two emotions. You can have an emotion and do an action. It's possible. But I'ma digress. So then they go in to the inside of the boat, and Marisol and I keep wanting to call this lady Araceli, and that is not that lady name. Marisol and let me go back in my notes, y'all. Alexia give them different like little fans. They're not fans, but there was like cards on the stick, so I'm gonna call it a fan with different Spanish sayings, and each of the ladies picked one that kind of represented who they are. And so it was just like, shady, you full of SHI, that kind of stuff or whatever. But it was the Spanish phrase and they told them what they meant. It was really, 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 really cute. So, of course, y'all know the neck got to get it started and talking about Whitney and Heather. Okay. Talking about Whitney and Heather. And I'm like, okay, let's get into this again. And so Leah says, well, you was talking about Heather, Whitney, saying that she doesn't believe in what she said. She's a hypocrite talking about Heather book. So after Whitney and Heather pinky promised with the kiss to move forward, Whitney was going back and talking trash about Heather. You know what I'm saying? Because she won't get her name off the Mormon scroll or whatever, but writing about being a bad Mormon. And Whitney can go to hell. I am sick. Listen, I can't be damning people to hell, but Whitney can definitely GTF for me. She worked on my nerves. And so Heather was like, listen, it took you 15 years. Like you sitting up here doing this, it took you 15 years to take your name off the roll. And your name just was off the roll 6 months ago. So why are you judging me for where I'm at in my process? And so Portia was like, well, if she getting her name off the road, then what's the problem? You tripping. But I want everybody to understand. Heather never said she was getting her name off the road. And so Whitney was saying, listen, you are basically, she trying to say Heather is still a Mormon because her name is still on this roll, this scroll, this paper, whatever the Mormons have. And she was saying when they lobby for bills, when they go to buy property and this and the third, they count you because your name is on that roll. Whereas Heather felt like, listen, I done wrote this book. They're already trying to take action against me about my book. I'm being ostracized. I'm going to be cut off. I'm going to be all of that. And at this point, when she's saying all of that, I'm like, well, hell, if they about to ostracize you and, you know what I'm saying, excommunicate you and all of this, girl, because you wrote a book, they probably going to take her name off the roll herself. You know what I'm saying? They self. But she's saying, so it doesn't matter to me. It's just a piece of paper. Like, I'm not at that process yet. Well, I'm ready to get my name taken off the roll. And so everybody's jumping on Heather, like Whitney, like, listen, let her go through her process the way she's gone through her process. Whitney, why does it matter so much to you if Heather's name is on this roll? Like, listen, I was baptized African Catholic, right? We had this church in New Orleans when I was growing up called Imani Temple. Matter of fact, I went to Imani Temple number 28. That was the exact one where I was baptized at. It was considered African Catholic was the denomination. I never went told the Catholic people I'm leaving the church. I just started going to Baptist churches. If you ask me what I am now, I'm Baptist. I don't know if they had a role or they had a, I don't even know. However it go, you know what I'm saying? But I know we moved over to being Baptist. We moved over to being Baptist. Now the church I go to is considered non-denominational. So I ain't telling Baptist people I was leaving either. Girl, I just left. I'm sorry. I don't feel like I have to go and tell somebody I just left. Furthermore, if y'all watch Sister Wives, y'all know Christine. They was trying to tell Christine when she was leaving Cody, oh, you need to go before the church. Christine said, I don't go to the church no more. I don't believe in the faith anymore. So I ain't going to tell nobody nothing. I'm divorced. She wasn't the legal wife. She was the third wife. So when she said she was divorced and she moved back to Utah. She was Mormon. So girl, stop. And whatever Heather process is, that is Heather process. Whatever your process was to get you to the point where you signed that roll or unsigned that roll or got your name removed from the roll, the scroll, whatever it is, the book, then that is your process. But if the girl is going already to be ostracized, and she wrote a book about being a bad Mormon and coming out against Mormonism, I think it's fair to say she is not a practicing Mormon. I ain't watched Salt Lake City season, so if y'all watch the season, tell me if I'm wrong. But it's giving full of for me. I just don't care. Whatever somebody's process is, that's their process. And because they're at a different process than you, don't mean that you gotta say that. Say what that you get to say and judge their process. So then Heather brings up the fact about she feels like Heather covered for Jen in a lie, okay, but didn't lie for me in the room. And I'm like, that's what it is. So you feel like because she covered for Jen about the lie of punching her in the eye, which I seen somewhere online the picture of Heather Black Eye or whatever, and I'm like, girl. And Heather was like, shoot, I ain't saying nothing, stitches get stitches or whatever. Then she come up with a story about the bathroom cabinet was hanging and she bumped her head a couple times. And everybody like, girl, no way. And she was like, listen, we went out, we was drunk. You know what I'm saying? When it was like, we went out, we had been drinking, we had a Marilyn Monroe night, and I went in my room and I closed the door and I went to sleep. I didn't hear any commotion. I didn't hear any fighting. And I'm like, girl, depending on how drunk you was, you might have wasn't going to hear none of that. You might have wasn't going to hear none of that depending on how drunk you was. But I digress. Portia says, well, girl, why you sitting up here acting like that? Then, you know what I'm saying? If they was out, they was drunk, they was having fun, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Like, she made it a big old deal. And Heather was like, basically, that's fake. You know what I'm saying? We agreed that we was going to move forward and you was sitting up here talking about me. And then she was like, well, I probably was being messy about it. And I'm like, girl, ain't no probably. You was being messy about it. You know what I'm saying? You was being messy about it. And I'm like, girl, y'all don't need to get on no more boats, on no more housewives shows. Because the boat rides just never go nice at all. You know what I'm saying? At all. And then they end up going outside, separating, they get their food and everything. And then Candace and Leah and them are outside with Heather and Eris. I'm gonna just call this lady Araceli because Alicia, what's her name? Alexia, hell. And Alexia, they sitting outside on the deck of the boat eating. Meanwhile, Portia, and who else was in there? Giselle, Portia, Marisol, and Whitney. And Whitney goes get her phone to pull up the black eye. She's like, Heather screaming this, like, if you show them the black eye, we are done. We are done. And so Maricel tells her, like, listen, if you, and Giselle's like, well, I asked her to show me. And she was like, yeah, because she'll do anything to please you. Giselle said do it. So she claps her hands and moves the way she, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, now Heather, girl, because you be doing the same. I mean, you be doing the same thing, girl. You be doing the same thing. You happy when anybody talk to you, Heather, because you know you fangirl, and so don't do that. But I get what you saying. But Heather, that's not your black eye to show. Like that's not like you literally started this because after y'all agreed to be cool, you went and was talking trash. I didn't see now whether they show it later on some back footage since y'all did it. I didn't see Heather say not one thing about you. So they sitting outside and Marisol told her, listen, don't show that picture. If you want you and her to be in a better place, then don't show that picture. You know what I'm saying? So then Candace somehow starts talking about Giselle and what she did with Chris throughout the season. And Leah goes inside because now she mad and she like, you know, this just made me mad. This just pissed me off because she's telling me saying I'm boring. I was bored was a bad thing, but yet she's done all of this. That's worse to me. That's worse to me. And I was like, well, girl, Giselle done a whole lot worse than say, Giselle done a whole lot worse than say she was bored at something. But once again, it's always the audacity of the neck. So Leah goes inside to confront Giselle, and Giselle like, I didn't say that. Candace is lying. Candace is lying. And I'm like, girl, you gonna hold on to this lie to the bloody end. You accuse that man of doing something wrong when you just felt a certain way. On top of that, you accuse that man of grabbing the Cookie Monster's butt to touch someone in their private areas on their body, including the buttocks, which is a private area, that is SA, ma'am. I need you to understand what it is, because maybe you just don't understand the ramifications in the terms of what SA is. You sitting up here lying. And Candace said, I just want you to understand. She's like, I didn't call you that. I called you a lying B word. And I'm like, well, she meant that from the bottom of her heart because she's been saying it all season and on the reunion. Okay. And then they get off the boat, child. And I was like, this is the worst boat ride that it has ever been. And they go back to the house. Okay. Now, after they go back to the house, Candace is in the confessional saying that they should get Emmys, okay, for everything that goes on because the housewives are just like a soap opera, except for It's They Real Lives. So then Peacock put together a little montage of Days of Our Wives, and they have like a little opening with a little theme music with all the wives' picture. I thought that was really cute. I'm like, they need to come up with something similar like this, a little parody, a little something, you know what I'm saying? But go ahead, get them ladies an Emmy. Put their name on a list. Okay, so Whitney gets back to the house and she calls Lisa to drag Heather. Okay, so when she was wrong, so this solidifies me that Whitney is exactly who the hell I thought she was, a no good labast. It's solidified to me because Lisa of all people, when you know Heather and Lisa on bad terms, so when now that we on bad terms, you're gonna go run to Lisa, and then you're saying that, oh, Lisa, she brought me on the show and I was trying to be loyal to her. And I picked on with you, girl. Listen, she didn't say you come on that show and pick a fight with Lisa. She didn't say you come on the show and be the backbone. Mind you, Lisa was dogging you. Lisa was dogging the piss out of you, Whitney. That had nothing to do with Heather. It had everything to do with Lisa Barlow being a big asshole. Oh, I'm sorry, in case I ain't said we on episode 4 now. Lisa didn't have anything nice to say about you, Whitney. She dogged you. She dogged you on her own. And so for you to sit up here and want to act like, oh, this and this and this, and call Lisa of all people to talk about you full of you are ain't shit. That's what you are. The rest is like that. You work on my entire nerve. So then after she gets off the phone with Leah, everybody's sitting in there eating, and Portia walks in and says it smells like bologna. I say, Is she saying the YT people smell like bologna? I don't know if that's what she meant, but she sure said it smelled like bologna, and I don't know why it just made me cackle. Okay, so Portia and Heather start talking, and she talks about wait, don't let that be your truth, y'all family. Y'all can bury it and move forward. You're a woman of faith. And she said, ask Heather where she was with getting her name off the road. And then Heather said, when that never came out of Heather's mouth, and Heather said that she hadn't started the process yet. So now Whitney, all these damn names to remember. Portia's in the confessional saying, well, Heather is a bad Mormon and a bad liar, but I'm like, she's not a liar. She never said, and they showed a flashback, but Heather was saying, Whitney, you were in the process. It took you 15 years to go through the process. So why are you coming at me on my journey? Which means her journey that she is on the journey that she's on, but she never said that. She clearly said, I wrote the book. They were trying to get something to stop her book, okay, and how she's being ostracized and this and that for writing the book. That is what she said. So she did not lie, Portia. I hate when y'all twist these people words around. But I digress. The day is for Portia. For the day activities, Portia got massages planned and she got games planned because the weather was bad. Okay. So they couldn't do the activities she had. Heather said, maybe I should go give a spirit offering. She's talking to Leah and Marisol. She's like, maybe I should go give, I mean, not Leah, Marisol and Alexia. Maybe I should go give a spirit offering because I haven't been doing it. Maybe the mood will change. And that's what we find out. That damn Marisol. Marisol went to go do her offering and she went bring her liquor to the spirit. And then she was walking back to the house. Then she did a U-turn and turned around and walked back to the spirits and said, take these back. And she went took her liquor back from the I'm sorry. I don't know why that's so funny, but I think I would have wanted the liquor back. Especially after she took it from the spirits. That might be why her stomach hurting so. Oh Lord, I snorted. Y'all, I know I am tickled. I know I should not be tickled, but I am tickled because they saw her creeping back up to the spirit house to take the liquor back, and then she said, "Take these backsies." And so that was so funny to me. So then with the next thing, Neck. If y'all don't know who Neck is, that's Gizzard, aka Jezebel, aka Giselle. Wants Heather to call Jen. It's like midnight where Jen at. And Heather, you was just talking about, oh, they're willing to do everything that Whitney was willing to do, anything that Gizzard want her to do. Meanwhile, you pulling out your phone to call this lady at midnight who just pleaded guilty, who about to have to go to jail for 14 years for Gizzard Neck, and she don't want to do nothing but being messy. Like, why you so pressed? Why you so pressed to want to talk to Jen? For what, girl? If you was that cool with Jen, you should have Jen number. Call Jen yourself from your phone. But needless to say, Jen didn't answer. And I'm glad Jen didn't answer because we didn't need that. Like, girl, the lady going to jail for 14 years. She not about to sit on here. You not about to get no answers. She not about to tell you why she pleaded guilty. She ain't even called and had no conversation with Heather. So she damn sure ain't about to call and have a conversation with you. How about you talk about your life and these people that you be dabbling here, there, and everywhere with? How about you talk about that? How about you talk to the man you dating from summer house, winter house, whatever house? How about you talk about that? Talk about your churn, girl. Talk about what you got going on, neck, ankles, Satan. How about that? Other than that, girl, hush. You know what I'm saying? That just worked on my nerve. Okay. So then the ladies go out to eat. They having barbecue. And they have to cook the barbecue themselves. And the ladies was kind of like, oh, we have to cook it ourselves. And I was like, girl, it's an experience. Please act like you're cultured. please act like you're cultured for me. I want you to act like you've experienced other things. Y'all always taking trips somewhere, but if maybe y'all will understand different cultures and understand the beauty of experiencing things from other cultures, if y'all stop fighting on every damn trip y'all go on. Just the word. So then after they finish cooking and they're all at the table, Candace wants to clear the air with Portia. And this is what I got extremely aggravated. I was extremely aggravated. So of course, y'all know Candace, girl, she gonna start crying. Now I ain't gonna lie. When Portia said in her confessional and she had her little napkin, she said one thing about Candace: no tear will be left behind, baby. No tear is gonna go past her cheek. And I was like, girl, well, you ain't never lied. You ain't never lied, girl. If it's one thing Candace gonna do is cry, she say Candace either crying or cussing you out. But when she crying and cussing you out, you getting her real feelings. And I was like, this is true, and that's actually a good observation. That's actually a good observation. So she was saying when the whole thing with Monique went down and it was on the Bravo, whatever that show was that Portia Gizzard had on Bravo chat room or whatever, that Portia had said that Candace was suing Monique to pay off her mama house or to pay them whatever it was untrue. So Portia was saying, you didn't, I mean not Portia, Candace was saying, you didn't know me and you made that statement about me and it was a lie. Like basically the fight, everybody thought it was the fight that had her like that, but it wasn't the fight. It was the aftermath of the fight and everybody coming against her, dragging her, saying that she threw a glass to start a fight, which wasn't true. This fight actually started because Monique said somebody touched her. And in that moment, she went black. And her and Candace was arguing. And she felt like she thought Candace was the one who hit her, who touched her. But it was actually who? The Neck who touched her. And I wish for once, like Giselle, you want to talk about somebody owning something? Bravo played back the footage and it was you that actually hit Monique, not on purpose, but it was you who actually touched her to make her swing on Candace. And once that footage was showed, you should have apologized and they both should have. Oh, I ain't gonna say that we ain't supposed to advocate violence. But the fact of the matter is, girl, that's how they got started. That's how they got started. So anyway, but she was just saying that Portia was like, well, I was just trying to help navigate my friend because I had been in situations with fights on the show and I was trying to help her navigate. And she was like, yeah, but y'all had a statement from her. You didn't get a statement from me, but it really hurt me what you said and it was defamatory. And Portia was like, it's not defamatory. She said it's defamatory because it wasn't true. And Portia was like, well, it's her truth. And she was like, but I didn't need to sue her for a down payment for my house. That was not true. To which Giselle starts interjecting her stuff. And I'm like, girl, for what? For what? Portia, Portia, because I defended you. And Portia's like, listen, I appreciate you defending me, but it still would have been nice to give a statement from me. And Giselle's like, you didn't appreciate me saying it. You didn't appreciate me standing up for you. So now it turns into, instead of Candace trying to get a resolution with Portia for the issue she had with Portia, now her and Giselle's going back and forth. Giselle's like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit, Candace, because I defended you. So now instead of Portia actually having to answer the question and her and Candace can either get an understanding or blow it the hell up on their own, now Portia gets to deflect. Well, you had Giselle that's telling her the truth. Telling the truth for you. Her issue wasn't with Giselle standing up for her. She never said, Giselle, you didn't stand up for me. You just let it ride. Her issue was she was directly addressing Project Pigeon Portia about the statement that she made about her. And she wanted to clear it because she was having those feelings. They on that trip. Let's go ahead and clear it. Which evidently they must have cleared because I seen her and Mama Dot at Portia wedding. But I'm just saying, like, that was not a moment for Giselle. Giselle, that was not about you. So now we don't get to see the resolution, the blow up, the reads for days. And I'm like, my God, today I want Giselle to shut up because that had absolutely nothing to do with her. So after that, the ladies go and they play games. They play a Thai version of volleyball and elephant suits. And that was cute. That was real, real cute. Then after that, we see more confessionals of Portia, and I'm like, my God, is she the only person who taped confessionals? Because she has about 85% more confessionals than the other lady. Y'all could have just gave her a show. Give her a show, Peacock. Okay. Other than that, I want to see the rest of the ladies in the confessionals. Okay. Then the next game they played Little Hands, where they were teamed up according to cities. So the next game they played, they had these little tiny hands, and you had to feed the person with the little tiny hands. And whichever team had the most gone off their plates, it was the team that won. Of course, Gizzard, I'm sorry, Gizzard and Candace won, and they were going against Portia and Leah. Portia and Leah went together because they were the only ones there from their individual Housewives series. Okay, so they were on a team together. Then after that, they played Spew It or Chew It. And baby, when they pulled out them scorpions, I said, baby, if you ask me something I don't want to answer, I'm just not gonna answer it. But I'm not gonna eat no scorpion. And then we find out that they can't eat the tail part of the scorpion because I'm guessing that's what the venom is. But I would feel like the venom is part of the whole scorpion. Like I get somebody else to do it. Okay. So each lady gets asked a question. Whitney gets asked, name 3 times that Heather lies. Whitney said, I'm going to eat the scorpion. And in her confessional, she said she was eating a scorpion instead of saying 3 things that Heather lied about. Y'all remember this, right? Instead, because she's trying to show Heather that she's still trying. I said, not after you call Lisa and talk cash money shit about her. No, you're not still trying, girl. You fake as you is. Whitney is so phony to me. Whitney is so phony to me. Heather is asked about her black eye, and she is adamant that she's not gonna tell, and she ate that scorpion. Lisa is not Lisa. Leah is asked on her show. They're supposed to be doing a reunion upkeep, however they about to revise New York. Who would she not have back? And she said she didn't want to go into a negative space, so she just ate the scorpion. Meaning you ain't about to get me to say nothing about none of these ladies. And if they come back, then I gotta deal with that on the show. So that night for dinner, Gizzard is hosting a Mardi Gras dinner, and I'm like, oh. She's like, oh, this bringing out my New Orleans in me, and I'm like, I don't want her representing New Orleans, not at all, not a little bit, not 2%, not nothing. Like, can we permanently give her Potomac, and like, where's the people from the Men in Black to just erase that part of her memory? Like, I just don't even want her associated with New Orleans. Like, I don't like her. But anyway, they do that. So Portia gets in the van that night, and she's saying that she says that Candace is coming for just her. She has a problem with her and Nick. And Nick says nothing is good enough for Candace. Like, I I'm sorry. I defended you and you're telling me that's not good enough, which she never said that. So you making up an issue. And then she brings up, she's saying that she didn't appreciate her lying on Chris and this, that, and the third, which I didn't do. And she said, I'm the cause that women can't come before, which we all know what Candace said. So I don't need to repeat that. And Portia's like, oh, that's taking off of your character. And I'm like, girl, just like you believed what Mo said, okay, you believe in Nick. So I really want to know. I really wish somebody would ask Portia, how do she feel now if she watch Potomac this season? And now that she watched it, how does she feel now about it? Because if she would have done that to Simon, how would she feel about that? What she would have got from Portia was them hands laid on her. So if Portia come up here with some politically, well, that's just Giselle and do nothing wrong. I'm telling y'all now, we all know Portia. Is she lying? And she would, girl, it would have been another fight with Portia on the show. That's just what it would have been. So I really would like to get her commentary now that the show have played out and we see that Giselle was lying. Okay. because she should feel stupid as and gives it you was lying. So then the ladies go outside, they eating, they had mini shrimp po' boys. The food, it looked good, but child, I gotta taste it. I gotta taste it to see because I need to know, was the po' boys dressed? How was they feeling? Was the po' boys dressed? I mean, and when I say dressed, I mean, the lettuce, the mayonnaise, the tomato, the pickle. Was it dressed? They had different little New Orleans style food. So then it started raining. So she said, well, we're going to improvise. She get the ladies the umbrella talking about she going to teach them how to second line. I was like, that's a matter of second line. That ain't no New Orleans second line, girl. That's a Kenner second line. That ain't no New Orleans second line. I mean, if you was going to do it and put it out there, girl, then you should have really been jicky. You should have really act like you been Super Sunday. You should have really act like you be under the bridge, girl. But we know you don't be there, girl. So therefore, you should have left it alone and didn't do it because that was not. So they go inside and they play reasonably shady game again. Okay, and they ask different questions about different things that happen or whatever. And then Whitney brings up about Heather needing to explain to her where is she at in the process of getting her name off the roll. And I'm like, at this point, y'all been there 4 days. And for 4 days, y'all been arguing about being a Mormon and not being a Mormon. Child, I don't want to hear this argument no more. I really don't want to hear this argument no more. And you know what? The ladies had the same sentiments as me. And finally, Alexia was like, listen, it's like when I'm married and I leave my husband. The divorce papers are not signed, but we're not together. And Whitney was like, and Heather was like, thank you, Alexia, thank you. And I'm like, girl, leave this alone. Leave this alone. Like, just, I don't want to hear about this no more. So then after that, the night is over. The ladies fake second line out. And yes, I'm saying fake second line out because, child, it was not done right, but they teach it and teach them right. Okay, she did not teach them about no footwork. Once again, they pull back up to the house and they have to walk up that hill. And Whitney decides to go in the confessional because now she wants to tell the 3 lies that Heather told. 1 lie was she haven't left her mom in church. 2 was how she got that black eye. And 3, she was never friends with Lisa Barlow. Girl, you so fake and phony for that. She was like, and I'm going to get down to the bottom of it. At this point, I feel like you need to have a black eye, Whitney, at this point. And then let us figure out who gave it to you. And with that being said, y'all, that was the end of episode 4. I'll be back when the next episodes come on, y'all. But I am really enjoying Real Housewives Ultimate Girl Trip. Make sure y'all come out for court tonight. I'll see y'all then. And with that being said, y'all have a good day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and share the video with your people.